Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, in case you ain't know so, and welcome back to another episode of Sports with SoSo. Coming to you live from CIC Miami, y'all. This is our 50th episode, man, and it's all about the U. Well, not completely, because you know we got to check in on our Dolphins and, of course, with Chelsea. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go.
That was strong.
You should have kept me muted.
You should get it tested with that cough. What's going on, big dog?
What's going on, my G?
Yeah, give me a pound after that. I don't want to dab you up too hard.
No problem. No problem. I mean,
it's bad enough we're confined into this space, you know. It's
a big room, dog, for just us two, man.
I mean, we do sit in one corner of it, but it is a pretty big room.
I feel you, but we all right.
Yo, I got something for you, doggy.
What do you got for me?
I know this is the 50th, and I know you've been dying to talk Canes.
Appreciate you.
So much so you brought your Canes shirt out.
Yes, sir.
You know, for the first time this week.
Let's go.
So I got something for you, dog.
Go ahead. Yo,
does that not get you in the mood for Hurricanes football, dog?
Big time, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
And look, man, this episode is going to be great because, yeah, it's a big accomplishment. We've hit 50 episodes, which is dope in itself. But more than that, like, we've been able to expand the spectrum of sports that we talk, right? We talk so many different things. We started off with just being centric on our home teams, but we've been able to find ways to branch out and touch on so many things, man. But it's always good to come back and touch, like, the important things that matter to us, which is the Hurricanes, bro. I'm so deep into that culture that it's not even funny. And I think I was telling you yesterday, I'm much more invested in the Hurricanes emotionally, right, than I am in, like, any other franchise right now. And that's only because I feel like the Hurricanes are close. And when the Hurricanes are good, it feels so much better because everybody hates the Canes. You know what I mean? Like, so when we're at the top and everybody's looking, like, up at us, like, damn, we hate those Canes. They're number one in the nation and they're winning national championships and shit. That makes me, you know, happier than anything else, you know. And I'm a diehard Heat fan, you know that, man. And diehard Chelsea fan, you know that too. Dolphins, we're getting there. But this episode is going to be dope, man. We got a big game coming up to start the season. We play number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide.
That's not an easy way to start the season, bro. Let me tell you. That's tough right there. But the only saving grace for it that I heard, actually talked to my buddy today who's a Bulldog, and I was asking, I was like, yo, who do you guys play first game of the season? First game of the season, Bulldogs, Georgia Bulldogs, Clemson Tigers.
Oof.
So you guys, you know, the Canes need Georgia to put that whooping on Clemson just in case, you know, this starts off 0-1 to start the season.
No doubt, man, no doubt. And I feel like this game being so far ahead that you can plan for it is benefiting the Hurricanes more than Alabama. And I'll tell you why, right? Let's start off here. The fact that we're ranked number 14 to start the season, which we haven't been
in the AP.
In the AP
preseason
we're
rankings.
14 in the AP, and we haven't been in that position since 2018, which is consequently the last year that people took the Hurricanes pretty serious, right? When it was like, wow, they could probably make some noise.
The emergence of the turnover chain, like the first season, and with Manny Diaz,
I believe
he was
so.
Defensive coordinator that
right.
year. He wasn't the coach.
Right.
Was that the year?
I believe so, yeah. So with that, our type of momentum, like, already laid down as a foundation going into the season, people recognize the talent that UM has. And Alabama looks beatable. From everything that I'm hearing about their camp and their training camp, they look very beatable. They're having issues with the offensive linemen. They haven't been able to get a starting squad together. So I don't know how good Alabama is going to be. Are they going to be the same Alabama that was in the championship game? Absolutely not. You and I know that. But more than that, I just know that whenever you lose so many players to the NFL draft, there's going to be a little bit of a vacuum, and it takes some time to fill up.
Multiple skill players on the offense, multiple defensive players, the leader on that team, the quarterback. Mac and Cheese now up in Philly, right?
Yep.
So to your point, it's a whole brand new team. It's a whole different team than they had last year. Yeah, there's a couple pieces that are still there, and Alabama obviously produces talent, and they're gonna, they're number one for a reason. But I guess what you're trying to get at is that they're not in midseason form just yet. They're just starting out the season. So if you want to face them as the Hurricanes, do you want to face them game one, day one, or when they have 8 weeks, of getting to know each other, playing with each other, learning the system?
Yeah, but that's as opposed to the year and a half that the main guy on the field is going to have going into that, which is experience with the Hurricanes, and that's the Eric King. And we saw the type of impact that he had on this team last year. We're returning one senior from the wide receiver corps, which is Mike Harley, but we also have some juniors who've been there. Pope, Dante Johnson, Rambo, all these guys have played with Eric King and seen the type of impact that he can have on wide receivers if they're able to get open and do their thing. Him being the quarterback on the field for us that day is such a huge advantage because no matter who Alabama starts, I trust Eric King way more than that guy. Whether it's running it, whether it's making a big play, whether it's getting a big first down, recognizing the defense, all of that. I trust the Eric King better than anything that Alabama is going to put up. So we have the edge there. And once you have the edge there, it's almost like everything else falls into place.
Hopefully.
You know what I mean? No. Don't get me wrong. Alabama's number one because of the talent that they have. They have a bunch of talent on that team.
Those coaches.
That guy knows what he's doing. It's not going to be an easy game for the Hurricanes at all.
Yeah.
But it's a winnable game.
Right now.
And it starts with the Eric King. And if he can bounce back from that ACL injury, ooh, papo.
Well, he's done a lot of rehab. The people didn't think that he would be ready to go, and it's all signs are pointing to go.
This is one guy who didn't think he would be ready for the beginning.
I don't think anybody thought. And then all of a sudden now he's fired up. A couple months ago he was already hitting 20 miles per hour while running.
That
means he's pretty much back.
He's a specimen.
Back to 100. Did you know he's the only player from the Hurricanes that got selected to ESPN's top 100?
Yeah.
Only player.
I think it was like top 50. I want to say like 17, something like that, if not higher. But
36.
Overall. Again, this is a guy that you don't need him to have 400 yards with 5 touchdowns like they do in Oregon or like they do in USC and all these other schools where they try to run up the score because they're getting scored on. The Canes got a real defense, bro. And we lost some key players, right? We saw Phillips join the Dolphins, and we had another defensive lineman go. So we're rotating in that position, but Manning Diaz's defenses have always been solid. And I heard him say on the radio just the other day that he's looking forward to the defensive line rotation because he has so many guys up there, that he can throw out there and just keep everybody pushing. Like a guy like DeAndre Johnson, Zach McLeod, Jafari Harvey, Chance Williams. All of these guys are in their second and third year there. And these are guys that when you look at their talent and what they can bring to the table, man, it's scary to see that those guys are going to be rotating. So that means they're going to be hungry and fresh for a majority of the snaps that they're playing. So I really think that the key to this season depends obviously on how far Derek King can take us, right? There's no doubt about that. But if the defense can be anywhere as good as it was before and really focus on stopping teams from running on us, man, we have the potential to really make some noise and be one of those 4 teams that are playing towards the end of the season with a chance to play for the national championship.
I read an article recently that was saying that they were struggling this offseason right now.
Alabama, right?
No, the Hurricanes. Yeah, their defensive unit was struggling, and that this last scrimmage that they just had last week, I think it was, or a couple nights ago, by the time you're hearing this, they finally came together. Like the defensive unit looked like the overwhelming, superior unit, to the like that in that particular session or whatnot.
Right.
That they finally got it again. So maybe it's just shaking off the rust. You know what I mean? Maybe they need that live speed against players like Alabama players. Those elite of elite. So
I feel like a lot of it has to do with guys learning their starting roles, right? Because it's one thing when you're a junior or a sophomore and you're playing, but you're not the starter. You don't get those starter reps. You don't see that first, second, third, movement from the wide receiver. You're catching this guy almost when he's tired or something like that defensively. Now, they kind of have to figure out, like, okay, what's my role in this defensive unit? How do I come into this defensive play? And what can I do to not only set myself up or set my teammate up for success? These guys have to find a way to figure that out. Now, for the offense, it's easy for those guys to look good because we have a really good quarterback making these guys look good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're starting a freshman quarterback or a sophomore quarterback first time starting saying, all right, here's the keys to the car, go for it. No, man, we got a real veteran leading this offense, so it doesn't surprise me that the offense was looking better than the defense.
Who is that? You just mentioned, obviously the leader of the offense being the quarterback. On defense is usually going to be either, it depends. It could be a linebacker, it could be a safety, it could be a defensive end. But who's that guy on the Hurricanes right now, if there is one?
Man, for me, I think it's a couple of guys, right? I mentioned Zach McLeod. He's definitely a big figure there. Who's the other guy that I'm thinking about? Can't find his name.
What position?
He's a defensive back.
We got Tyreek Stevenson.
Him.
Al Blades Jr.
That's the one. Al Blades Jr.
Okay.
Because Al Blades Jr. knows what it is to play for the U. He learned that from his daddy. You know what I mean? And that stuff is in his blood. So when it comes down to it, he knows that, yeah, he can talk it, but at the end of the day, he's going to walk it. And I've seen him make plays consistently in the limited time that he's gotten because, like I was talking about earlier, he's one of those guys that recognizes, like, yeah, my job is going to get harder when I'm the starter. Like, I may be getting tackles now, and I'm, like, hyped up and all this, and I can get an interception here and there, but am I going to be able to do that for 60 plays a game, 50 plays a game? That's where that consistency of being a starter is where it matters. And you got to know that if I'm not going to be able to do that, they're definitely going to give the opportunity to the kid behind me. Right. So I got to step up. And like I said, Al Blades Jr. knows what it is to play for the U. He knows what it is to be a Hurricane. So I feel like he's going to be the leader, not necessarily on the field, right, like into that rah-rah thing, because there's going to be, like I said, the Zach McLeods, the linebackers, those guys usually lead that. But in the locker room and on the practice field, it's going to be his pace, his driving force to be like, yo, we got to do this. We got to get better. 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 And that type of attitude is infectious. And once that gets started, man,
snowball
effect. And I really think that this defense is primed for it, bro, because we've seen it in the Manny Diaz years. The defense has always been good. That's the reason why the turnover chain exists, because we're good at creating turnovers. We're good at causing disruption. We have the athletes to do that. Now, if we can just tweak certain parts of the game where it's like, all right, let's control the running game. Let's stop teams on third down. Let's keep teams to third and long, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 6. As opposed to 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2.
I think the biggest issue, though,
those are things,
has been, not the fact that the defense isn't good. It's just that they're good against bad teams, and then they come up short when it matters most. So it doesn't matter how good you are. You can have 6 turnovers in a game against Boston College or something like that, but what are you going to do against Alabama game 1 of the season? Yeah. That's the real test right there. Forget anything that happened last year. Forget anything Manny Diaz has ever done, for the U. It starts now. It starts this season, game 1 against Bama, dude. What way to say the U is back
with a big-ass upset.
Huge, huge bang.
I mean, it'll be the first time since 2000 that we beat a number 1 ranked opponent, which just so happened to be FSU at the time. And that was the beginning of the greatness, that great run that they had in the early 2000s, 2000 and up to like 2004 and whatnot. I just think that at this point in time, we're primed for that big blowout season. Where we really, really put it all together, and it's like, boom, here's the magic. The schedule is that favorable.
Let me ask you a question. Who do you think is the more delusional fan, the Dolphins fan or the Hurricanes fan?
That's an interesting question, bro.
Because you just sounded like a Dolphins fan to me right there, Playboy.
Here's the difference, right? Here's the difference. the Dolphins, they've been given the chance over 25 years?
Oh, it's been 49 years since we won a championship. Years?
All right, but let's just say in the last 20 years. We're talking about from 2000.
Oh, we haven't had a good season since Marino retired.
All right. And how many good seasons have the Canes put together?
Oh, that's decades. There's been multiple runs at it.
So that's the only difference.
But where the last good team was 20 years ago. The last great Hurricane team was 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
It's more 2021.
Like 14 years because it was like 2002, 2003 team. That team was nasty.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That was probably the last
18 years.
So we're right around
18
there.
Years.
Which is still less than anything the Dolphins has done.
I totally get it, but does that change the level of delusion?
Absolutely.
From fan to fan.
I'll give you another reason.
Because the Hurricanes in the last 18 years have not done anything to really tell me these guys are still a powerhouse in NCAA football.
I'll give you another reason, right? And this is an important one because we're talking about the NFL. The Hurricanes put more NFL talent into the NFL than any other college football team. So, again, maybe the coaching wasn't right at the time. The QB wasn't aligned. Maybe he wasn't that good. We should have gone with somebody else, whatever. The point is, the Hurricanes have been the more consistent, quote-unquote, franchise. They've won their division, the ACC, before. They've played in ACC championships, gotten smacked, but they're there.
Right.
Any Dolphin fan, you and I included, would be okay with getting smacked if it means we're being in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, the last time we were in the playoffs,
we got smacked
by the Ravens.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, the Dolphins don't even give us that often. The Hurricanes are at least feeding you every 3, 4, 5 years. That's what I'm saying. This year in particular is almost the accumulation of that time where, like Hurricane starts pretty much, no pun intended.
I see where you're going with this.
It starts a little weak, and then you gotta pick it up, and then it turns into a 2, into a 3.
He's making a swirl with his finger shape of a hurricane.
You feel me?
A tornado forming.
Of a hurricane forming, bro.
Well, a tornado, and then it evolves into a hurricane.
But you get the drift, right?
Yeah.
Where we're building it up. And now I feel like, all right, we have all the pieces together. We have the experience. We have the experienced quarterback. He's a real playmaker, probably the best in the nation right now. We also have a top 15 defense if they can get their act together because we know that their talent is there and they have been making plays. Example, the turnover chain. Now they just have to put it together. That's it. The moment they put it together, it's like a boom effect. It's going to all magically fall in line. This game against Alabama could be what sets it off. Think about it like this. We beat number 1 Alabama. We don't play another ranked opponent until number 10 North Carolina. And that's 5 weeks later, 6 weeks later. Playing Appalachian State, Michigan State, Central Connecticut, Virginia. And then after the North Carolina game, we don't play another ranked opponent.
That's the other problem with the Hurricane schedule, bro.
We're in the ACC, baby. It is what it is.
ACC is whack, bro.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Even with that whole joining up, and it is what it is. Yeah. But at the end of the day, college football is about beating teams that you have on your schedule and beating them how you're supposed to. It doesn't matter if we win by 1 point against Alabama.
That game for sure, yeah.
We win.
Yeah. That's it. A win there is a win. To
quote
Dominic Toretto, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile.
A win is a win.
Winning's winning, bro.
You feel me? And then, to put it like plain and simple, Hurricanes win that game, and we could really be in a position where we're playing for the national title at the end of the year.
Yeah,
straight up.
I can see that. A couple of other things have to happen. I mean, obviously, you guys can't go on and lose to like Appalachian State or Middle Tennessee. You
got to take care of business. But I feel like we're past that already.
I don't know, man. I feel like the Canes still have it in them to pull some shit like that, to literally go perfect the whole season. Yeah. And then last game of the season, you're playing Middle Tennessee or somebody, and then it's like, yeah, we don't really care. Manny Diaz maybe he's like, yo, we're not going to put De'Eric in there. We don't want to, we want him for the playoff or whatever. You know what I mean? And then just lose that game, and there goes the season. You know what I mean?
For sure. But this is why I like what the Hurricanes are doing with their schedule, right? They're kind of setting it up where they're using the front end of the schedule to like get in those early wins, build some confidence, maybe make a couple other decisions on, positioning who's the starter, who's the reserve, who's the number 3, whatever. And then at the end of the schedule where you have this momentum, that's when you play the teams that you're like, all right, we need to be completely focused and we need to be in some type of good rhythm heading into these games. Last 4 games of the season. I'll give you the last 5. At Pittsburgh, home versus Georgia Tech, on the road against Florida State, home versus Virginia Tech, on the road against Duke.
That's the season right there.
Tough. That's the season right there, like you said. You feel me? So if we can knock out this early part.
No, they have. What are their first 5 games?
Yeah, just mentioned Alabama, Appalachian State, Michigan State, Central Connecticut, which I don't even know is a real school, and Virginia.
So aside from the Bama game, everything else is like a preseason game for them.
Straight up.
That's where they can literally like cut their teeth and just kind of
figure it out.
We got to get in playoff form.
Figure out the roster. Right now we have I believe it's 11 wide receivers. You got to figure that out. You got to figure out that running back situation to be who's the number 1, who's the number 2.
I'm counting 9 so far.
I know that there's two true freshmen that are working their way to be on the squad.
Yeah, Keyshawn Smith is a freshman. Michael Redding III is a freshman. Xavier Restrepo's a freshman.
Right.
And Brashard Smith is a freshman. Oh, and Romello Brinson.
I think I
already said Michael Redding.
At running back, we're solid because I really like Chaney.
So that's something I needed to talk to you about because I know like on the Chaney Dolphins, you kind of have some parallels with the Canes and the Dolphins as far as
that's the area of thoughts, improvement.
Where you like Tua, you think that the Dolphins' success is going to be heavily reliant on Tua, and with the Canes. Same thing with the Eric King.
Right.
The defense has been the focus for the last couple of years, so you're confident in the defense with the Dolphins. That's literally, been our best feature, our best asset as a team is our defense. So a lot of good parallels there. You can't help but to notice that the running backs might be a little sus. And if you are a fan of Canes football, you have been used to great, elite, Hall of Fame caliber running backs.
Yeah.
Running through your hole. So
right.
What do we have to say about guys like Cam Harris Jr., Jalen Knighton, and Donald Chaney Jr.?
For me, it's you hit the nail right on the head. They need to find a way to become legendary, right? Because most of those times, the Frank Gores, the
Clinton Portis,
a lot of those guys, McGahee, a lot of those guys were undersized, weren't really looked at by other colleges and whatnot, and they didn't get the opportunities. But UM saw something in them to say, you know what, stay home, we'll give you the ball, let's do this. Mm-hmm. These guys are going to have that opportunity where they can benefit from being in a high-powered offense, right? Because we got to assume that the Eric King is going to do his thing. He's going to be able to run around and be that type of threat. That just makes it even harder for a defensive unit to be like, all right, do we focus on the quarterback? Is he going to hand it off? Is it a play fake? Are they going deep? Once that opens up, the running back becomes completely usable in any single formation, right? Because he can be on the field at all time, whether it's the block, to catch the ball. And all these guys that we mentioned can catch the ball. Some are better than others, obviously, but they can all catch the ball and coming out of the backfield, and they can all make at least 4 to 5 yards on a carry. Now, can they be that superstar? Can they hit that 20-yard run for a touchdown? Can they break that 35-yard run for a touchdown? Because that's what's going to matter. Carrying the ball between the sticks is going to be whatever. Because I feel like once we get in the end zone, the Eric King is going to be a real option. He might not be option number 1, but he's going to definitely be option 2B. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, listen, if this guy's not open and this guy's not open, do your thing. So the running back is going to have to really take hold of that position and say, anytime I get an opportunity to take it to the house, I got to take it to the house. Because I don't know if I'm going to get that carry first and goal on the 17-yard line. I might not get it. So
I got to take advantage now.
So, yeah, that's probably the one area of concern that we would have as an offense. Because even offensive line, like last year, I know that it was somewhat shaky, but this year, these guys are still coming back. Everybody's gelled. That's one more year of these guys playing together. You're more settled into your area and your position and your coverage and whatnot. that's going to improve automatically, just like in the Dolphins. You know, we see that the Dolphins' offensive line is gelling better as each preseason game goes, and they look better and better at keeping Tua standing up. Same thing's going to happen with the Hurricanes. They're going to be able to keep Derek King from getting those hits and finding and allowing him to find those lanes where he can take advantage and use his leg and his speed to find 5, 10, 15 yards, you know, and keep the offense churning. But if I'm being honest, that's probably the one area that does worry me, the running backs. Everything else I feel solid. You know, we're tight end you, so we got plenty of talent there. I really like our linebacking core. I feel like they have a lot to prove, and they're going to be able to put up some real big hits. They're going to be able to stuff that run game. We got some real guys that run downhill and like to get involved in that scrum. And I feel like that's where the defense was lacking. We were getting ran on way too much last year, like easily ran on. And it was borderline embarrassing. I figured that Manny Diaz figured that weakness and said, you know what, we really have to focus on the D-line and the linebackers.
Was it last year where that kid from North Carolina just
destroyed us?
Like broke records?
Everybody had 100 yards that game,
bro,
dog.
Oh, my God.
The ball boy had 100 yards that game, dog. It was bad.
That was bad.
It was bad.
That was bad.
And that's what I'm saying.
Let me ask you this question, because we're going back and forth with Dolphins and Hurricanes. It's a little slanted because obviously the Dolphins play more games in the NFL than the Canes do. Right. But we can ask one of two ways. Who do you think is going to have the higher win percentage, or who do you think is going to win more games outright?
Well, one thing is one thing, right? Like the Dolphins play already more games than the Hurricanes, right? Okay, cool. So they're probably going to win more games.
Right. So that's why
we're expecting the Dolphins to win.
Let's go off who has the higher win percentage, like relative to your schedule.
I want to say the Hurricanes, because I don't see too many losses for them, bro. I really don't. I feel confident that we can go into FSU and beat them. I feel super confident that we can go into Duke and beat them. I feel super confident that we can go to Pittsburgh and beat them. I don't know if I feel that confident about going to New England and beating New England in New England. Definitely don't feel comfortable saying that the Buffalo Bills are going to take a L from the Dolphins in Buffalo. We could beat the Jets. I feel confident about that.
Yeah, but we also got the Super Bowl champs, the Bucs, on there.
Tough.
But, I mean, there's a lot of sus. I mean, we got the Ravens. Tennessee. The Ravens are a tough team.
Play Tennessee, too,
But,
right?
I mean, we got the Jets twice, so, we're locking in 2 dubs.
Yep.
We got the Panthers. Yep. Panthers, I think those are a beatable team.
We're going to beat the Patriots to start the season. And
the Falcons are definitely beatable. The Jags are beatable. Colts are beatable.
We don't know.
But the Raiders are beatable. We'll get into that Dolphins talk in a second.
Everybody's beatable.
But I was just curious. I wanted to see what your thoughts were. But it goes back. The Dolphins fans more delusional than the Hurricanes fans.
Somewhat, because the difference is, honestly, man, the Canes have done it, and we've seen them put a good year together, right? Where, okay, you missed out college playoff, you ended up number 7, and you're playing in this bowl. All right, that's cool, man. That's a success for that. When you know that you don't have none of the top nations best in anything, rarely, right? Now we have one of the nation's best quarterbacks. That changes the game big time. Now, on the opposite side with the Dolphins, if that quarterback position is solidified by a guy like Tua, like we've seen recently, then yeah, the Dolphins are going to improve and they're going to win games because of quarterback play. Quarterback play is like so essential to football, and the fact that the Hurricanes probably have a better quarterback right now for that system, college atmosphere, NFL atmosphere, whatever you want to call it, Derek King is probably more comfortable in that Hurricane system than Tua is in the Dolphin system. It is what it is. But I really feel like, man, of the 2 teams, who's closer to making real noise? It's the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are closer to making real noise, no doubt. But I'm willing to take the surprise of the Dolphins.
Either way, you don't lose.
I don't lose.
We get good content out of it.
You feel me? But I don't know, man. This game against Alabama, bro, I really feel like we can take it.
The reason I ask is because I'm not as a hardcore Hurricanes fan as you are. I'm more of the casual, Hurricane guy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm more of a Dolphin. I guess I'm more of that Dolphins delusional, and I'm like, nah. I think the Dolphins have a shot of having a better win percentage this year. I think we had a lot going for us last year, and
True.
the fact that we don't have to start this. Well, I guess we do. We played the Bills in the first 2 games, but that's our test, right? We got to play the Bills, and the Hurricanes got to play the Bama.
That's the bar.
So I'm looking at I'm looking at some of the odds and stuff they got. They got the predicted score right now, 56-23. Bama.
I'll take that bet, dog.
Dude, that is.
We're 19.5, dog.
18.5, bro.
Right?
That's
18.5.
son.
I'll take that. I'll take
All
that
day?
because all day, bro. All day. I trust our offensive line better than their offensive line. I trust our quarterback more than they trust their quarterback. And at the end of the day, the Hurricanes could get run on defense and all that stuff, but if you keep throwing that ball, that shit is going to get picked off, and the chain is going to come out. And once that chain comes out, I feel like a brand new you hits the field. It's like like you gave these guys Super Saiyan pills or something. These guys go nuts when that chain comes out, and the offense feels the momentum. The defense feels the momentum. We know we're going into that house as an underdog, and I feel like some of the best moments in Hurricane history have come like this, where it's like, yo, we're the heavy favorite. These guys ain't giving us a chance. Nobody.
You mean the underdog.
Yeah, we're the heavy underdog.
There you go.
My fault. Nobody's giving us a chance. Let's go into their house and kick their ass. Let's do it. And just make it happen. You know why? Because at the end of the day, we're gonna play freely. That quarterback that's starting for Alabama, and I'm not even gonna mention Buddy's name, but I'm sure the night before. I don't care, dog. I rep the U, baby. We know
where our loyalties lie.
We're not doing none of that. I'm sure before the game, that guy's going to be more nervous than Derek King.
Oh,
Derek King's going to be like, well, it's prime time. Let me make sure my cleats are clean because everybody's going to be watching me score these touchdowns.
He's ready.
Like,
he talked to Stephen A. Smith. He told him he's confident. He's healthy. He's ready. Saturday, September 4th, 3:30.
I told you what Kirk Herbstreit said, bro. Kirk Herbstreit came out and was like, this guy's going to be the face of college football.
Yep.
Come on, man. What type of stamp do you need to be like, yeah, this guy's the real deal?
Kirkers.
You know what I mean? Like, we are going into this game hella confident, and we should be hella confident because I don't think Alabama is going to be the same Alabama. Now, coaching is the same, and that makes a huge difference. Got to give all the respect and everything else to Coach Saban and his entire staff. Them boys run a tight ship, no doubt.
That ain't no democracy over there.
Yeah, ain't none of that. It's my way or the highway.
Looks a lot like North Korea over there.
You feel me? But when you have that drop-off and nobody really is hyping up your quarterback, there's questions about their offensive line, it leaves that door open for the Canes to be like, oh, look at this little crack in their armor. Boom, let's hit it. And then just go all in. Let's do it. We're the U, baby. We could do it.
One more time. Saturday, September 4th, 3:30.
Let's go, man.
It's going down.
Prime time, baby. Prime time. It's all about the U. I wish I could be in the building for that game. I'd probably be too drunk, though.
That'd be lit.
Yeah. But you know what? We're definitely going to make it out to a couple UM games this year, dog.
Oh, yeah. We could definitely
We're definitely going to make that happen.
At least a couple tailgates.
Yeah, man. But you know what? I do have to mention something.
What's up?
The special guest. Okay. We had he had a little bit of an issue. Wasn't feeling that well.
Yeah, we had some scheduling issues and stuff.
We're going to reschedule, and we're actually going to be able to do it around the time that game is kicking off, more or less. So you guys are going to get a really good episode from us that day because we're going to have a QB legend from the U. I'm not going to tell you who just yet, but my dog's a legend. So get ready. Get ready.
Maybe we'll do it after the game and we'll do some
recap. Some post recap. That shit'll be dope, man. Stay tuned. Yo, real quick, let's get into this Dolphins thing, man, because
well, let's start off. They just had their second preseason game of 2021, and they beat the Atlanta Falcons,
which is so weird that we practiced against 17. Them. Yeah, it's so weird that we practiced against them, right? We had like the shared practice.
Yep.
We played them in a preseason game, and we played them in the regular season too. So that's gonna be like 3 times we run into these people. So.
I mean, it's Atlanta, Georgia. Real. I guess they're doing it because of COVID too. They're just trying to keep, geographically, people all together or whatnot. But impressive win for the Dolphins that second preseason game. Obviously, it's still preseason, so nothing really matters except for these guys fighting for their jobs. But there's a lot of great takeaways from this game, man.
For sure, for sure. And mostly the biggest takeaway is Tua, right? And how well he played. And more importantly, how accurate that guy really is, bro. Like, before the hype was like, well, he's the most accurate quarterback in college history and all this stuff. And people were like, well, whatever. Then you see it on the field, and it's like, yo, this guy's putting throws where only we can catch it.
He throws a pretty football.
And forget about a pretty football. He throws an accurate football, meaning that window is only going to be for you. So if you don't catch it, don't feel bad. You were the only one who had a chance at that play. Come back and get ready for the next one. And homie looked nice, man. I'm not going to lie. He looked very composed. He looked
16 for 23, 183 yards and a touchdown. And he even did something that people were like, why doesn't he do this more? He actually tucked the ball and ran for one. Got like 8 or 9 yards. So
I think he just has to pick and choose, right?
Yeah, you don't want him to go to that, right? Because then you see these quarterbacks that rely on they don't stick in the pocket long enough and like giving the play time to develop, and then they just bail out, and it's like you should have just waited a half a second more and you would have had that.
Right.
So I don't want him to get too comfortable with that, but I think it's a matter of like realizing now, like, oh, there is nothing going to develop any further here. I got to at least advance the ball. I got to get something positive here.
Exactly. I agree 100%. And do it smartly, right? Because I was watching yesterday, the Jaguars were playing, and, bro, to see your number one pick running around taking hits like that, it's like, yo, either slide or don't run. Take the knee. But don't be out here taking hits.
Trevor Lawrence is a bad man.
He's a bad.
I agree. I saw that too. And I don't want him running and taking hits. I would have taken him out the game immediately.
No, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you.
Out of here with that.
Let me talk to you. But with Tua, same thing applies, right? I don't want to see this guy taking hits. I want him to advance the ball, take those 4 or 5 yards, maybe get a first down, keep the chains moving, slide. And he has to know that that's an option for him. But, man, I just really was impressed with his poise. He looked very calm, very relaxed. Nothing ever was like too hyped up or too low. And he looks like he's ready for the freaking season, dog. I'm not going to lie, man. I was kind of like worried, let's say, right, on the status of Tua and how good he was going to be. But with each performance that I see him in, it's more encouraging. It's like, all right, this guy could be it. He could be it. And I'm still interested in how that cohesion is going to happen with the wide receivers, because
he connected with Waddle early a couple times and it looked nice.
Waddle had that little scare.
He went down for a moment there.
But my dog
looked
bounced
serious,
back.
And then he ended up coming back into the game later on.
He bounced back.
That was a good sign, but it was a little scary for a moment there.
But the connection, like you said, is really real between him and Waddle.
Yeah, out the gate, they went right to him. They had a couple plays already designed straight for them to connect. But I mean, Tua, kind of just built on that first game, had more time, so he had more production, just all around great, great performance from him. Our defense, shout out to the defense. Shout out to one man in particular on our defense for that second preseason game.
Yes, sir.
And it's my dog, Sam Eguvon. And I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. But this guy had a night, dude. He had 4 sacks on the night. He had a safety. It was just a phenomenal. His sacks were back to back. So the first 2 that he got one, and then on the very next play,
got the other one.
You
know what that is right there, right? That's how you make the team, bro.
100%.
That's how you make the team. Like, I'm going to go out here.
I did a little bit of research on him, and he was undrafted. He went to go play in Canada, actually. That's where he got discovered. He was playing the CFL. He almost gave up. He was doing Uber and stuff for a little bit, going back and forth. Last year, we signed him last year. He came to the team, and this year, game 2 of the preseason, he just solidified himself a position on the roster, dude.
Because you know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
Cameron Wake.
Yeah.
Very
CFL
similar.
Career.
Very similar, right?
Yep.
And if this guy can come in here and even have half the impact that a Cameron Wake had, Papo, we're going to welcome you with open arms, my dog, especially on this defense. And what's crazy is that today they made some cuts, right? And we still have 11 wide receivers on the roster, which is crazy to me. But I feel like the roster is being trimmed in the right way. I don't see this team having too many weaknesses, so to speak. QB play is a question, right? Because obviously people have to see Tua win games. And once he starts winning games, then that question goes away. We see the sporadicness in the running back department, right? With Gaskin doing his thing, Malcolm Brown every now and then.
Hold on. You're not just going to throw it sweep it under the rug.
What do you want me to say?
We didn't just have a whole conversation about our running backs last week.
But what did I say?
You're not going to give my guys their props?
I gave Gaskin his props. I said he's doing his thing.
Yeah, but the way you did it with your tone, I didn't really appreciate. You were just sweeping it under the rug. Yeah, the running backs did all right this game. They balled. All three of our backs balled. For a preseason game, they did outstanding, bro. They looked great. Gaskin looked great. Ahmed looked great. Shit, even Malcolm Brown had a touchdown. I mean, he didn't look great.
Thank you.
But he punched in the end zone, and that's what we got Malcolm Brown for.
Thank you for saying that, because that's important.
I call it like it is sometimes.
That's important. That's sometimes.
But yeah, you know, I couldn't let you just kind of breeze over that without giving you some.
I'm not. Like you said, they played really well. My whole thing was, and you know this, is are they going to be?
It's the weakest part of the team.
It's the weakest part of the team.
And
because
now they look good this game, so what does that say about the team?
But what I'm saying is, like, they have to do it consistently. You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely. And not in the preseason.
You know, not only in the preseason, it's cool to show me that in the preseason, because it's like, all right, I want to see that Gaskin, Ahmed 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then let Malcolm Brown eat every now and then. You know what I mean? By getting some touchdowns. That's cool. I really would like to see that work, because all that does is benefit my man back there in Tua to do his thing. I'm cool with that, and I really want to see that. But I want to see the consistency in the running game. I want to see that consistency. And hopefully, like I said, if Gaskins can stay healthy the entire year, he's going to be a major, major threat in that backfield. I know it. He's going to be a major, major threat.
Yeah, on both sides, running and catching. He was 6 for 27 on the ground with a touchdown. That's 4.5 yards a carry. And he had four receptions for 44 yards and a touchdown. That's like a fantasy owner's dream right there.
Yeah, man.
Not even crazy stat lines, but I mean, we're talking that's 4 on the PPR league. That's 4, 8.5 plus 12.
Solid little outcome.
He had 20 points. He didn't play the whole game.
Solid little outcome.
My mouth is just salivating right now, dude. I gotta draft this guy.
And I know
I know my friends don't watch this show, so I can share my fantasy secrets, because I know none of them watch it. And
they do watch it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my dog Richard, because he actually drafted Gaskins and texted me like, "Yo, I took the Dolphins player."
Bruh. Hey, shout out to that guy, bro. That's because of my commentary right there.
You probably came up.
Nah, but yeah, he looks solid, man. He looks solid for this year. He's the clear-cut number one. Yeah, and the team looks solid. We had, that first game, we had some offensive line issues, even though I thought they looked all right. They went out and they signed a guy in Greg Little. We traded for him.
Yep.
We gave up a 7th-round pick next year?
Yep.
For Greg Little. And the O-line looked great this past week, man.
Consistency, baby. Let's get consistent.
That's it.
We know where the key players are going to be at, and as far as the guard and tackle position, it's just like, all right, stay healthy and play together and just keep it rolling. Because everywhere else, I feel like we're solid, beyond solid, almost in most places. I was just looking at the linebackers, and I'm like, damn, we got some nasty linebackers, bro. Because I really like Jerome Baker. He's obviously nasty. Van Ginkel is really nice.
Yep.
Jaden Phillips is gonna freaking ball. Okay, I know that kid is gonna ball. We have McKinney, who played well last year. Who's the other guy? Eguvon, the guy we just talked about with the 4 sacks. Like, yo,
that was just a surprise out of nowhere.
We're
so much
loaded.
Depth.
We're loaded when it comes to depth in that front 7 position, and we've talked about it before. We're like, damn, that's how the Dolphins are going to be able to really control games and win games.
At the line of scrimmage.
At the line of scrimmage on both sides. If offensive line can do that just as well, we can be a very serious team. And I'm not talking about us trying to win the division, because I still feel like Buffalo has that.
We said it on here.
That's
their
respect.
Ago.
We got to give them
the division,
that respect.
The AFC East runs through Buffalo at the moment.
But as far as
that can change.
But as far as everybody else in that division, it's like, y'all not on our level. Like, no. I'm sorry, Patriots, y'all do your thing. Flip a coin with whichever quarterback you want. We're still gonna beat you. Same thing goes to the Jets. Play whoever you want. Doesn't matter. We're still gonna beat you. You know, and I really feel strongly about that. So, I don't know, man. I was really encouraged with the second game. Obviously, we know the third preseason game is coming up, I believe, Sunday.
Yeah, we won't get a lot of action from the starters.
Zero action, which is okay.
That's more for the guys, again, just trying to get a roster spot.
Yep.
But that just means that we're that much closer to football season.
To real football, bro. And it's amazing.
I'm super pumped. Like, we got fantasy drafts in the year. I already had one.
I got mine Sunday.
I got one on Sunday as well, and then I got one the Friday before the season kicks off. So super pumped, man. I can't wait. We're going to have tons of football content and things to talk about for the next 6 months, pretty much. So
my favorite time of the year, bro.
I'm pumped, but you wanna pump the brakes on football and talk a little bit about football?
Yes, football with the U.
You know what I'm saying?
Hit me up. Hit me with my sound, please.
There we go, y'all. Y'all ain't ready.
Yes, sir. Getting dubs on the weekend.
And if you want, I got another thing queued up for you because I know we talked about it the last time.
But I just got to tee this up because we paid a lot of money for this guy. There was a lot of talking about whether or not he was going to be able to perform. Is he going to be able to give us the goals that we look forward to? And my dog delivered in the quickest way possible.
Lukaku, the man.
The man.
You guys want to hear it?
Play it.
All right. Here we go.
Potential fallibility, which Chelsea are trying to exploit. Kovacic, that's a lovely ball in business here. Lukaku scores on second debut. It's only taken 14 minutes. Arsenal ripped apart, and it was a tap-in for the £98 million man.
You got to break that down for the people. Lukaku first came back with Chelsea, 14 minutes in.
And it was how he scored the goal. Because if you looked at it, go look at it on Chelsea's Instagram page. Because
Chelsea FC on Instagram.
You're going to see this man, number one, take the incoming pass with his back to the goal, hold it, set up another pass, run through his defender, shrug him off completely while the ball's being played out wide in order to put himself in a position where he's right in front of the net with nobody around him. And on top of that, he finished the goal. That was the biggest issue for us last season. We had a hard time finishing goals. And damn it, this guy just comes out here and delivers in the not even 15 minutes into the game. As a Chelsea fan, that couldn't have gone any freaking better. Like, you couldn't have wrote the script any better than how it actually happened. And it's Lukaku to Chelsea Academy product, Mason Mount to other Chelsea Academy product, Reece James, who gives it back to the Chelsea legend of Lukaku, who's able to put the goal in. And even the second goal came about like that, where it's those three guys and the link-up play happening, where Mount is able to find Reece attacking on the wing completely unmarked and has a good shot on goal, which he rifled into the back of the net for a 2-0 win against Arsenal in Arsenal. London is blue. Don't forget that, guys. But that game was like a real eye-opener to be like, shit, Chelsea really have put something together here, because defensively we were extremely, extremely sound. We held possession for like 68%, 66% of the game, which is crazy. And we even limited the amount of shots they were able to put on goal. So, like, those are things that championship level teams go out and perform week in, week out. And for us to do that so early in the season, while accumulating new parts and putting them all together, still figure out like the squad and who's playing where and doing what, bro, it was a real impressive win. And a big shout out to Lukaku for putting up with the pressure, because I'm sure that guy felt all the pressure in the world from all the Chelsea fans to be like, well, this guy needs to score goals, because
and he got the monkey off his back right away.
Quick. So, you know, the fans were singing his name throughout the whole game. Even after the game, they kept singing it and singing the Romelu Lukaku song. And it's just crazy, because now the team is getting even more depth. I'm seeing that we're looking at a defender still, Kunade. There's rumors of Saul Niguez coming from Atletico Madrid, who's a midfielder. So the team is just ramping up and like really loading up the squad to be like, all right, let's go try to get all these trophies. Let's go back and try to win the Champions League. Let's go out there and win the European League, the EPL. Let's go out there and win the Carabao Cup. Let's go out there and win the FA Cup and win every single freaking trophy that they line us up for.
Yeah,
and the squad is there.
An already good team just got a whole lot better.
Yeah, man. And it's crazy because it's not, we're spending money, but the business that Chelsea does in selling their players too is like right up there. We sold over $150 million worth of players. It was like a total of 5 or 6 players in order to afford a $98 million player in Lukaku. So that's pretty good business, because you're still keeping some money in reserve in the bank, and you're getting rid of players that you know you're not going to count on and you know you're not going to play. So what's the point of having them, right? And right now, Chelsea is in real prime position, but we got another tough matchup this Saturday. We play Liverpool, who's also tied with 2 wins on the season. Same goals. That we both scored 5 goals between 2 games, and we haven't been scored on. And it's going to be a tough matchup, but I feel like it's going to be the type of matchup where it really defines our season to be like, okay, are we this good? Are we as good as we think? Because it's good and it's okay to go in there and play for the draw, right? And get 0-0, not lose, and not have anything happen. But it's more ambitious and more knowing of where you're trying to achieve your targets if you can go out there and push for the win and actually get the win. And I feel like Chelsea is definitely the hotter team and the team more informed, right? We've won the Champions League, and then after that we won the Super Cup, and then we go out there and we win our first 2 games, and it's just a lot of winning, and we hardly give up goals, and we're a tough team to play right now, and I don't think anybody really wants to match up with us. So Liverpool being home, they're obviously gonna have that push, right? Because they had all their fans in the building, just like Chelsea did at their home game. So it's going to be a good test, and I really feel like Chelsea can pull off that upset and beat Liverpool. I wouldn't be surprised if we beat them 1-0. That's my prediction. We're beating them 1-0.
Dope. I like it.
Yeah, man. Let's see.
12:30 game too. It's not that 7:30. I like that in the middle of the
We're the prime
day.
time game, bro.
That's super dope.
It's quote unquote Saturday night football for the Europeans.
It's like lunchtime, bro.
Yeah, lunchtime football for us, which is obviously awesome because that means that your boy will be drinking by noon. Holla.
That's gonna be a good Saturday, bro.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be a good Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to that. We got a lot of sports this weekend, bro. You know something else we got to bring up before we sign off? I almost totally forgot. Manny Pacquiao taking the loss against the Cuban.
Oh yeah, Ugas with the big win.
With the big win.
Decision, and he ended up taking it, man.
And I mentioned this because I have a lot of respect for Manny Pacquiao as a professional, number one, as a person, because he's always been, humble guy, do the right thing type of guy, never really been in trouble or anything like that. And even as a fighter, he's always been entertaining and willing to put on a show for the fans, like whatever the cost. And I just feel like I felt like the show had to give him his props in case that was his last fight. There's a lot of talks about him possibly retiring. He still has the will to fight, but you're 42
years old, man. There's only so much punishment the body could take.
Right, you got to fight.
He's won how many different divisions and belts in his career? Like a dozen. Different divisions that he's fought in and won and been champion. And
right.
Hey, what else do you have to prove at this point? If he does it just for the love of it, because that's always the argument. For the love of the game, right? For the love of baseball, for the love of basketball, for the love of boxing. But shit, man, boxing's that one sport where you see fighters, in their 50s and 60s and they can't even, they don't have control of their motor skills, and you can see that does a lot of damage later on in life. That comes back. So it's like, hopefully, you got everything you needed out of it. You're going down as one of the greatest to ever, box.
Right.
But what else do you have to prove or accomplish?
I mean, I just feel like like you said, what else could Manny have to achieve? He's even won like presidential seats or parts of parliament in his country and been on the Philippine government and stuff like that. Like, come on, man. This guy's a winner at life.
He's an icon in the Philippines. He's an
icon. No, as a person, this guy's an icon to be like from nothing to something and then some while still taking care of the people and being wholesome. Like, come on, dog. That makes you a legend in life. You don't forget about sports. And Manny deserves the respect that we're giving him, obviously. And I really hope that this was his last fight. Not because I don't think he can continue fighting, but when you're done, you should know when you're done, and it's always better to hang up the boxing gloves before they get, force taken away from you.
Yeah, like Joey Diaz always says, it's better to walk out on your own 2 feet than having to crawl back on your knees or whatnot.
Exactly, man.
You want to walk out where you still have the chance. So.
But let's talk about the champ, man. Let's talk about the Cuban-born Ugas, man.
That's my dog.
What a badass, bro.
That's my dog right there, bro.
And I saw him on the interview that Telemundo had with Victor Bermudez, my dog, and on that, you could tell that he was passionate about his country. He was very proud to be Cuban and proud to be champion and representing the sport of boxing because, as you know, Cubans take that shit to the heart. It's a deep, deep pride thing for them.
And especially with everything that's,
what's going on.
The social turmoil and the political turmoil that's going on in Cuba right now.
Yeah, man. So even much more gratifying to see a guy like him, right, win for not only himself and his family and take care of all that, right, in his personal life, but also to be a beacon, right, a beacon of hope, a beacon of hard work, of championship stature, to be like, this is what goals should look like. Achieving these things have to take hard work, but the payoff is this,
And not just that, and the literal analogy to the people of Cuba that are, still oppressed and still fighting for their freedom right now as we make this podcast, to literally see this Cuban fighter fight and win. You know what I mean? To your point, that beacon of hope, it's like, that's our guy.
That's our guy.
And that's where we're from, where he's from. Right. And he can fight and be a champion. We can keep fighting and get our freedom.
No, for sure.
I thought that was huge, man, to see that. I feel like it was a little bit, it was kind of brazed over because the focus was Pacquiao. Obviously, Pacquiao's the draw. But Ugas, hell of a champion, man.
No,
hell of a champion.
Let's just on boxing terms, this guy technically is sick. He throws really great jabs, defensively sound, an excellent defensive setup where he has a majority of the time his two gloves up right in front of his face, kind of like the Mike Tyson defense almost. And he threw his right hook effectively because it's not a traditional right hook where it's coming like from the side. It's more like a overhand hook where it's coming from top to bottom. And he was just catching Manny left and right with it. And I really think that he'll be a problem for the rest of the champions in that division, because when you're technically sound like that and a real defensive fighter with power, that's a real combination for success or longevity as far as being a champ goes. So as a boxer, Ugas displayed so much skill that it was impressive, because like even myself, the fight started very late. It's late. I'm old. I'm trying to stay up to watch everything. Everything is dark in the house and shit. And the way this guy's defending and just countering and being on the offensive when he knew he had Pacquiao like kind of on the step back, it was keeping me entertained more than anything. And that factor alone was like, yo, this guy has something that most fighters don't. Most guys, they have the name and they have the belt, and that's why people watch him. This guy was making me watch him purely on defensive skill and offensive game plan. Shit was sickening how this guy was doing it. So I felt like he really owned that fight against Manny Pacquiao.
He got better as the fight went on, because Pacquiao came out a little strong in the beginning, and it was like, oh shit, Pac still got it. Yeah, he's never lost it, but I mean, he still got it. And then, it was like Ugas just kind of, as the fight went on, he was studying him, and he was then picking his punches, picking his spots. You know what I mean? And like you're saying, he was taking advantage of what he knows best. So it ended up going the distance, and it was a hell of a fight.
No, but he won unanimously.
Yeah.
Like that in itself lets you know, like, how many times can you say like Manny Pacquiao has lost a unanimous decision against somebody else? Like, come on, dog. That's
Never.
Fucking rare.
Yeah.
But this guy came out and put a masterclass performance together, and really stuck to his game plan. Big time fighter, big time fight, and he stepped up big time, dog.
Oh yeah, man.
And just to add everything else that you were saying, with that storyline behind it, it's like even more of a bigger thing to see. And I just felt like it was great for the sport of boxing, and they really needed some type of positivity like that, man.
Yeah.
It was dope.
Exactly.
It was dope to see.
Speaking of boxing, though, did you hear about what happened with Gervonta Davis and his plane?
No, talk to me.
He was, they had some plane issues or whatnot, and they were going to take off, and they had to emergency land the jet and whatnot.
That's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Bro, but that's crazy though, bro.
That shit is crazy.
Like there's just been a lot going on in aviation, the wrong way recently.
Yeah, boxing is crazy. I mean, I feel like boxers always put themselves in like weird predicaments and shit like that. Where the hell was that guy flying to? I hope it was training.
But he was with Kodak, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Little Kodak was with him.
You see, that's doing the wrong things, dog.
Kodak said his back was hurting and shit. His neck was hurting.
When you're doing the wrong things,
Tank
dog.
was like, nah, we straight. Nothing happened.
Of course. But be in the boxing gym, bro. Be in the boxing gym, because we need bigger fights to come along. And like this fight was a pretty much big fight. I don't see.
We got some coming up. We got. We got the trailer, the Tyrone Woodley and Jake Paul, which is happening
this weekend.
Pretty soon. Yeah, this weekend already.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been waiting forever for that fight.
Yeah.
But then we also got Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. They were getting in each other's grills the other day.
Yep.
The trilogy, you know what I mean? It seems
that's
like
going to be a dope
there's
one.
A little bit more. It might be just for the promotion, which more than likely that's what it is.
Of course.
But, it seems like they're more passionate, and then now this is the third one. This could be the very last fight. So it's like, if you're either one of those guys, you want to prove, you're the outright alpha.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of UFC fights coming up. Really exciting. One thing that's not that exciting is our Marlins. I just want to mention they're 23 games under 500 and the last in the
Shout
division.
out to the Marlins, man, for trying hard this year.
I have not seen a Marlins win notification in about 2 weeks.
Damn.
It's been bad, dude. It's been brutally bad. But hey, we still love you, Fish.
We knew that. Listen, we knew that this season was gonna be tough. So let's not act like we were expecting a lot of things from the Marlins. But honestly, we saw what we wanted to see in the beginning of the season. We mentioned wanting to see starting pitching really take off. The emergence of Trevor Rogers, right? Super dope.
T-Raw,
my dog. We wanted to see the young talent get a chance. We saw Jazz balling out there, right? We saw what's this other guy? Marte, while he was here, balling.
Duval played well. Aguilar played well. We had a lot of individual pieces that have done well so far in the season for us.
And a lot of young guys that stepped up and did their thing, to kind of match what the veteran leadership was doing and at least teaching them. But honestly, man, I feel like we learned a lot about the Marlins. Yeah, they're not a great team right now, but I feel like they're heading in the right direction. They're starting to build a real solid foundation, dog.
The biggest thing they got to figure out is winning on the road.
Yes.
They're 500, which at home they need to be above 500. They're 30-30 right now at home, but they're 21-44 on the road, which is just absolutely ridiculous. You cannot not be that far, on the road. You're never going to be a championship caliber team if you can't win on the road. So.
Facts. Look, my bad to cut you off, but like I was mentioning with the youth, they just brought up another prospect, Edward Cabrera.
That's all.
As you saw the video of him getting told in the locker room,
yep.
It was really nice. He wasn't expecting it, but that's the type of shit that I want to see. I want to see them give these type of guys a shot to say, hey, go out there and show us what you got, bro, because we could use you, and he obviously has good enough talent to be in the majors. Now it's a matter of putting it together and showing the world that you can do it. And he's going to get his chance on Wednesday. So you guys listening to this on a Wednesday, make sure you check out the Marlins game and check out his debut.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, dog, I think for the 50th episode is not bad, bro. I feel like we're building towards something that's making progress. We're on YouTube now. Like, who the hell are we, dog?
I don't know, dog. I don't know, but I just know that we're getting better at this every time that we link up and we do this.
Absolutely, man.
And that's about,
That's about it.
That's about it.
That's about it.
So
that's about it, man. Let's wrap this thing up, man. I want to give a big shout out to you guys, the listeners, the subscribers, the people who are putting us in their playlists every week. We thank you. This podcast would not reach where it has reached without you guys, but it doesn't happen without you guys doing one thing that we ask, and that's to tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell another friend.
To tell one more friend.
To tell one more friend about this dope-ass podcast. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it on social media. Sports with SoSo Podcast. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. Check us out. We're on all of that. So until next time, y'all. Peace.